You're very welcome, Katja, and all the other people as well. Thank you for being here, all in presence. I see you all, in a way, like representing all the citizens of this world. You are just a few here, if you compare it with the 7 billion, but you are all representing the human being on this earth. And after having my hell ride 1 hour with my sister here, it's quite heavy to start, I have to admit that. I didn't prepare anything, I just go with the flow. Thank you for the introduction. It is what it is. I was on both sides, as a child, and later as a perpetrator. I have to start with the birth of a human being. The awareness I share is the awareness I have now. It's sometimes maybe a bit confusing later on when I start to express myself and explaining things, giving a testimony about things, because I do it with the awareness I have now. And most of the things I was not aware of in the past. I discovered things step by step. But to begin with the birth, this is a universal thing. It is when we are born, I start to discover we are so connected with the source of life, what I call the creator of heaven and earth. We are pure. We are manifesting the God, being the son or the daughter. We are the light. On the moment we arrive, everything is fine. Okay, there are always exceptions that you can say, okay, there is a malfunction in the body, nobody is perfect and so on. But the light is there, it's manifesting. Then we enter the program of this world. And this is not a new program, it's a very old program. It's a Luciferian program. That means they start to raise us up through our beloved father and mother, if you have one, in a program to end up in the slavery system we have. Because we are just a source to use. We are the value, we are the light, and they want to suck it completely. Like screwing the orange completely, sucking everything out, throw it away. Once they call this the American system. You consume it and you throw it away. And that's what's happening on this planet. It's going through your parents, they love you, they want to take care of you. They put you in the vaccine programs with a lot of chemicals to damage your immune system. It's in the school system. It's everywhere to be the perfect slave. There is another thing, and that's more about my story. When I was born, just a bit later on, I started to discover that I was born in a family with a father and mother who were heavily damaged during the Second World War. So these were not real developed people, they were heavily damaged. And because of that, my first 9 years on Earth were that heavy that I start to realize that if there is a heaven and earth, I was born in hell. Because it was not heaven on earth at all. It was hell. My mother was not able to defend me. And my father figured out that he couldn't hit my mother. She was so heavily abused and damaged that it doesn't matter for her. So to hit her, I was the firstborn. Because he knew that my mother, for the first time, was able to love a human being, and that was me. So the best way to hit her was hitting me. So brutal that I start to copy his behavior. I was, in that period of my life, it was not a common expression, but I was one of the first terrorists on earth, beating up everyone on school. I was really terror. That was picked up by organizations who protect children. So there was an investigation coming up. And they start to discover my situation, and they, by court, they put me in a place where they protect heavily damaged children. It was a Catholic accommodation, and they really, really loved children. And they didn't have Vaseline to make it a bit more smoothie. This is how I start to discover what it is to have sexual games on me. I didn't know what sex was. And they did this for 2 years. Very intense, not only with me, but it was with all the children. And the first year was most hell. And then you get this fuck up with yourself as well, because after being through all this pain and tortures with, well, I save you the details. It's well, if you know everything, you really like to kill humans. And I was going in that way, in that direction. To survive all this, the first 11 years and the last 2 years was really screaming to go back to the other hell. That one was actually better than the second hell. One of the mechanisms we have in our human being the light, is on the moment you are going through hell, you get disconnected. One way or the other. It is a miracle. So your body is still moving around with everything they are doing, but you're not there. You are there, but not there. Disconnected. That's the way how we survive all this horror. Even they put plastic bags on you and you're choking, and no. Sometimes you go out of the body and you see yourself. It's the way how you start to develop being sensitive in other dimensions. Actually, on your way home, back to the source. When I was coming out of this 11 years, I was completely an adult who was back inwards, locking myself up in an atomic bunker, not having any attention to be damaged once again by humans, and I was full of hate, meaning full of poison. And I was ready to go in this world to destroy every human being I can get a hold on, a grip on. So coming out of this mess, my mother was in the meanwhile divorced. She was left alone in a little caravan, hungry. I started to take care of my mother in a strange way, because she was also betraying me. She couldn't save me. So actually I'm a bit fucked up in the past, and later on in life I need really healing, and I'm healed. Still, it's quite difficult to give this testimony. But on the moment I came out, I grew up taking care of my mother, meaning I start to be criminal. I have no affection or reason to follow orders or rules or whatever. I was liberating myself from this madhouse and starting to do nasty things in my youth already. I was playing with other children, being soldier, and I chose to be a Nazi on purpose. And I was making this march through the houses where all the old people are living, where they take care of the old people, and I knew they were out of the war. And I did it on purpose. I really start to beat people, to traumatize people because of my hate. Once I nearly killed an adult in that period. In school, same mess. My English was not developed on school. I was always kicked out. I had my diplomas, but I paid for them. Ha! Fuck you all. That was my mentality. So I became an independent entrepreneur, and I covered everything I wanted to do because I wanted to destroy, so that means I needed a lot of money. To get access to money, you need to deal. So in the front, I created companies like car dealer, import-export, even a fashion line distributing nice clothes for women. You know, it was all covers for the deeper things I did. That was being involved in criminal activities. And I have to tell one thing. All the criminal beings on this world, the normal criminals, so to speak, they hate only one thing, and that's pedophiles. It's only one thing. They can do whatever they want, but on the moment you're talking about child abuse, they explode. They really straight want to kill. That's the world I was in, criminals. I have to go back also about the pedophile thing, because she told me that there were investigations about pedophiles and all the humans who are doing horrible things with children, that they assume they are completely dead to do this, and that they need this extreme pulses to have something going on. Based on my own experience, I really start to believe it's actually a knowing, because it was also about my own story, that you're still alive. Even you do the horrible things on this planet, you're still alive. I recognize this, and I tell you more about my horrors I created, but the horrors they created on children, they are still alive. Their light is still in them. They're human, the love is still in them. But it's like mine, locked, completely locked in a bunker, atomic bunker. And they are afraid of the adults. They stop, their life was stopping like my life in the beginning. But they are pure. And I'm not defending them, because I think everybody is responsible for their acts on this planet. But they need a gate, they need a bridge to come over. And I want to invite all the people on this planet to come over this bridge of forgiveness. Because there is a whole army of people who want to take care of them, to heal. And of course, there are consequences of coming forward. But it's doable. The point is, they're locked up in their cells. They don't trust adults. And they're still human. In a way, they are human. And they need also affection. And the most safest way to get a bit of affection is through animals or children. I'm not talking now about the satanic part, about the normal part. So, one way or the other, in every human, I believe there is a child who is partly locked or completely locked, because we're running through a program. So in a way, who can proclaim on this earth, on this moment, that he is fully the being he was when he is born? Who can claim this? Who can proclaim this on this moment? Who is fully the light represented on earth? Who is the original being, without of being programmed, without of being hurt, without of being manipulated?